Morning. Sorry about not having the video last night. I was doing stuff for Easter. This is my video on the fake news assignment for MDIA-3450 on the Daily Show versus Fox News and Julia R. Fox's peer review on which one is like more fake news. And obviously, she came to the conclusion that both of them, in one way or another, um, kind of are fake news, and that's like a really broad point. But both of them don't have like the sustenance or like the structure of like a really like journalized news article, right? Both of them lack in one way or another. Um, I think specifically, she said, yeah, where the Daily Show obviously doesn't broadcast themselves as a news channel. They're like a humor channel, and thus, many will argue they don't have the responsibility of being a news channel for other people. And the thing with Fox News, where there's other influences, things like clicks or traffic that kind of outweigh their need for having sustenance or needing really like good journalism, right? At the end of the day, the best journalism doesn't isn't good for business in a way. So after researching into it and obviously thinking like having to have a hard statement of which one is more fake news, um, in my opinion, I'm gonna go with Fox. They really both are, but I'm gonna go with why Fox is probably more problematic, and it doesn't just go for Fox, but many mainstream media sources. Um, the thing is with the Daily Show, I agree that they, although they are like humor based, and at the end of the day, it's a comedy show. Um, I think information, like responsible information for broadcasting, is important. Like whether you're, and this is like something that's really shown in light these past couple of years. Whether you're an influencer or a popular platform, everyone's going to see and monitor what you say. And as annoying as it sounds sometimes, you really do need to watch what you say or do when your platform is going out to literally the entire world, right? Um, and so something that uses the Daily Show uses comedy as like a platform for advocacy, as we see in the gun control special that the Daily Show did. Um, with that platform and with using of any information to make this comedy, holds a bit of a responsibility there, right? We see in like the more modern times, a lot of, if you ask a lot of like younger generations, especially those who are like let's say teenagers, young adults like Gen Z, um, you'll see that you'll find a lot more percentage of Gen Z find their information or news from either independent creators or other things on the internet, things like TikTok posts, Instagram posts, things like that, or like people they follow. So like influencers, maybe they'll follow someone who keeps them updated on the news, like an individual rather than big corporation or a big news channel, which a lot of the older generation will follow. I think that Fox News carries more responsibility, or most of these news channels, um, at least right now. I think in the future, both of them will definitely have some sort of, we will have a change in media and how the government or how people really regulate or even how they view the internet, right? It's still like legally, it's still a lot of it's in early development. We don't have a lot of like understanding, right? We haven't seen the long term effects of how exposed media like this and having an open communication throughout the entire world really affects us, right? Especially when it comes to news and information. Um, but for now, Fox News and other news channels have had more time to develop. They've had more time to have that discussion happen, and thus they are held more responsible on a regulatory standpoint. Things like journalism licensing and what they can be held liable for, like what information they do and do not put out. And I would argue that Fox News has or just conventional media has more of an influence as of right now. It's definitely like the scales are definitely weighing in a way that would not have been able to predict 20 years ago, or the vast majority of us wouldn't have. Um, but the Fox News is more established, is more taken more seriously to a larger demographic of the world, and I say thus has more responsibility of being a responsible newscaster. I think that given time, that'll convey onto other means of news as our way of consuming information media changes, and it has been changing. But for now, that's kind of where I sit. Um, and you can see this, and you can see how they're a little bit fake. I don't think I need to go into detail, but to like back up my opinion with some sources, we did watch the there's two videos on Fox News on gun control, and the flippin' the whatever caster Tucker Carlson, um, Fox News will do these bits all the time. And this isn't so much about like the opinion on gun control or anything like that, but we will have watched a Fox News article on Tucker Carlson interviewing someone about the Second Amendment, right? And they will go over statistics a lot because that is really like one way to convince or push people to do a certain thing to show them the numbers. They'll argue over that a lot with one interview going over, well, we do have this stat for like gun violence in the U.S. Well, that's not really split up. Like how much of that is not so much gun violence, but like more domestic violence with a gun, right? How much of that is self harm with a gun, right? How much of that is, how much of that it really is these like mass shootings, right? That they bring up a lot. And then I watched another Second Amendment advocate thing, on Fox News's official channel, and I'll try to link both these in the description, where it goes over that again, but it's to argue against the bans on assault weapons or like ARs specifically, and they bring up the statistic again, right? But they skew it in a different way. It's the same statistic, same amount of like gun violence occurrences in the U.S., but they're like, okay, well, the majority of these are using handguns, right? So we banning ARs isn't going to help with the or banning ARs for the handgun issue isn't like going to even do anything, right? They just want to take away our guns. Where they were arguing earlier that a lot of those um, gun violence things were not really happen. Sorry, that didn't make sense. But a lot of what gun violence happened um, wasn't specifically like what the bans are targeting towards, right? If you went up to a Democrat that's currently involved with this, they would argue that automatic rifles might have a bigger withholding in in these public shootings rather than domestic violence or self harm. People don't really use ARs for that sort of violence, right? So this is where they leave out certain information or add in certain information to push their agenda. And that happens with all types of news on every platform. Literally, it's just to say what you want to hear. So one person of a demographic goes to their news channel instead of the other one. And thus more people on their news makes more advertising money, makes more monetization, and thus is the actual influence for having large news sites. It's not about the news. It's about getting people to watch your content, right? Um, and that goes both ways. But one uses the platform of being news, and the other uses the platform of being comedy while using news. If both of them use fake information or not truthful information, which they both do, right? They both do use fake information, fake news, right? One advertised as being news, and that is their like main platform. So that's I feel like that holds a little bit more responsibility as of right now, and I do believe that that's going to change in the future, where information is going to be a lot more heavily societally and probably even legally as well, be a lot more scrutinized. Um, but we'll have to wait and see. So thank you.